Hello and welcome. You are watching the Marblecast. Welcome to the second of three pre-Marbula 1 Season 4 hype videos, could you call them? Pre-season videos coming out right before the season starts. I definitely did not procrastinate making this video. No, what do you mean? Anyways, this video I will be ranking all the Marbula 1 teams on a tier list based on how well I think they selected their racers for this season, with a bit of commentary on each team. Starting out with the Balls of Chaos, I'm going to straight away put them into S tier. S tier means I think they made the correct choice, and I think Balls of Chaos, as chaotic as they are, made a tremendous choice to not change up anything and leave Clutter and Tumult in. Clutter finished 6th place last year. Tumult was alright, and I think with Tumult improving a little bit and Clutter continuing to be grabbing medals left and right, they could be a force this season. Or they could finish 20th. You never know with the Balls of Chaos. The Bumblebees are bringing Bumble and Stinger. I like that they made a change. Stinger obviously could be the right change, could not be. Stinger has run a lot of triathlons. Bumble is pretty good, so I am gonna go ahead and rank them in. I think they made the right choice. I don't know if I can justify S tier, so I'll go ahead and put them in A tier. I think it's the right choice. I'm just not sure it deserves my S tier on this completely opinionated tier list. I'm seeing the problem. Anyways, we'll move on. Next up are the Chocolatiers. I don't even think they should be in this league, but past that, they are bringing Chalk and Mocha, not Bonbon, who I believe is the best racer on this team by far, even if it's only on sand. Chalk isn't a bad pick to replace them, based on some statistics that I currently have forgotten, because they're the Chocolatiers. Mocha did technically perform better than Bonbon last season, but I think this is just a really poor way to try and make an impact as a very forgettable team in this league. They will go in D tier. Next up are the Crazy Cat's Eyes, the dominant force in this league. An incredible runaway victory in Season 2, and a close battle with the Orangers up to the very end in Season 3, ending up finishing in 2nd. They have changed up their racers. It's going to be Blue Eye instead of Yellow Eye, joining the perennial MVP, Red Eye. I don't know how justified this risk is for the Cats when Yellow Eye came 3rd place in Season 2 individually and was alright in Season 3, obviously not good enough, and the pressure to win every year is definitely there for the Cats. But we will see how Blue Eye does. It's a huge risk. They'll be going in C tier for Cats. The Gliding Glaciers are next up. They are replacing Alpine with Frost and continuing to bring Iceberg. I like this change. I'm not sure if I would have picked Frost, but I don't know. I'm not the teams. All I can look at are stats of events that really aren't related. I'll go ahead and put the Gliding Glaciers in B tier. Next up, the Green Ducks. S tier, 100%. Do not change a thing. Ducks, yeah. Billy and Mallard. Mallard coming off most valuable marble in the Marble League. Obviously, again, Marble League and Marbula 1 are very different, but Mallard and Billy are both quality in this league already. With the experience and the practice, they should be a challenger this year for first. Next up, we have the Hazers, and I think the Hazers made the worst decision of any team in Marbula 1 to not bring Smoggy back to the tournament. Smoggy is one of the top racers of all time in Marbula 1, competing in all 3 seasons and doing very well in all of them, including an overall podium in Season 1. They end up going with Misty and Cloudy. I don't dislike the Misty choice, but I don't understand why Cloudy's on this team ahead of Smoggy, and that will put them in the F tier. And Yeah, I can't. I don't know why. There's no reason for this. Next team on this list are the Cobalts. They kept Royal and Cerulean, and just like the Balls of Chaos, don't change what worked. They're going straight up into S tier. Zero complaints here. Next up are the O Rangers. They did not change their racers, and again, S tier, no change. Don't change what worked. With all these teams up in the top, they're very good teams who kept their very good core together, which I like. No members of any of these teams were at all bad last year, and that is why I think they they really made the right choice keeping the racers together. Next up are the Pinkies. They will be sending Pinky Winky and Pinky Panther instead of Pinky Toe and Pinky Panther. Surprisingly, it was Panther who was worse last season, but yeah, the Pinkies needed to change up. I don't know what the change needed to be. They don't really have like any track record of being elite racers in general, so this is just kind of experimentation from the Pinkies. I can't really rate this very fairly. Uh, I'll go with the C tier. Two very different C tiers. One questionable decision from a great team, and one experimentation from a previously, well, I say previously like they will be good, like from a commonly poor team. Even commonly, is that even the right phrasing? From a team that was poor last season. There we go. Using the facts. Next up are the Raspberry Racers. They kept Razzie around, who was very poor in Season 1, was alright in Season 2, and then brought in a new member. Instead of Ruzzy, it'll be Rizzy. This team kind of need new names. But yeah, Rizzy will be joining Razzie, and I think it's a decent idea keeping in your captain. Got that veteran experience to teach the new guy. The Raspberry Racers made the best of a bad situation, in my opinion. Next up are the Savage Speeders. They needed to make a change. Rapidly was doing poorly. They decided to go with Swifty. I personally would have gone Velocity, but that's just personal preference. It's a good thing that they made the change. Speedy's obviously sticking around. I think this tier needs a little more balancing. I'm going to go with A tier just because I personally would have taken Velocity. I could have been proven, or I could be proven wrong. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. Shining Swarm, Shimmer, and Glimmer. They didn't make a change. I really don't know if they should have. I think going with the experience is a good choice. But just because there's a little bit of doubt there, I will go with A tier. But I do think this will be the right decision. Next up are Team Galactic. They're going with the approach of the Cobalts to put in their reserve and hope for the best with Quasar. I'm excited, personally, for Quasar, on obviously keeping around Starry. The only really other option was Astron. But yeah, I think going with the unproven marble is a risk Galactic need to take. Starry is always there to be very, very good and probably get 4th or 5th. I'm obviously kidding. I actually think Starry's gonna individual podium this year, and I think Quasar will be better than what Cosmo and Pulsar have done. Pulsar was pretty decent in Season 1, but ended up getting replaced after Season 2. Maybe it would have been a good idea to bring back Pulsar, just for the experience, instead of relying on a rookie, but the rookie is the risk, and Galactic needs some risk. I really love the choice, and I'm going with S tier. Next up on this list are Team Momo. They stuck with Mimo and Momo. I am not sure if they should have taken a risk or not. They went ahead and didn't. Keeping Mimo was one of the most obvious decisions in this entire league. But then again, keeping Smoggy was a very obvious decision, and the Hazers didn't do that. I will go ahead and put Team Momo in A tier. This is kind of the same deal as the Shining Swarm. Maybe could have taken a risk, but I'm not certain that taking a risk would have been the right decision. Obviously, we will see once the season starts. Next up, our Team Primary, going with Arip, obviously, and Rima, who was pretty good in Marble League 2022, and has experience, although not great experience, in Marbula 1. Prim would have been a tremendous risk after an awful season. I really like this choice from Team Primary. Personally, I will be going with S tier for Team Primary's choices. Next up are the Thunderbolts. They've obviously kept a Bolt, and they've also kept Thunder on the roster. Shock was cut after Season 2. I don't know what to think about this choice. I think the Thunderbolts need to shake things up, need a risk. But Thunder did show speed when it really mattered. In the final race, the Sand Rally of the 2022 Showdown, pretty much dominating that race, only losing it out to Snowy, who should be in this league at the last second, and saving their team with the silver. I'm going to go ahead and put the Thunderbolts in. I'll go ahead and edit this to B tier. Although, again, this is kind of the making the most of a interesting and not ideal situation. And finally, we have 3 of the hardest decisions on this tier list. The 3 new teams that we know barely anything about. We have the Blackjacks up first, with Captain Hart and Club, who won the water race in the showdown. I really don't know what to think of this roster. I'm just going to throw out probably a C tier. I don't know, honestly. I can't really make too many cases for any of the Blackjacks. None of them were particularly impressive in speed-based events. Next up are Team Plasma. They went with Captain Firo and Ecto. Firo participated in the sprint and the sand rally race, both of which doing pretty alright. And Ecto took 3rd in the water race. Club obviously winning that gold. Excuse me. I was thinking ahead a little bit as the team took silver in the 5-meter relay. So obviously a team that has some speed. We'll have to see about the other racing qualities that are needed in Marbula 1. I like the choice. I'm going to go ahead and go with B tier. And the same for the Wolfpack. Fenrir was the winner of the sprint, the 5-meter sprint, with some very impressive performances. Sirius has not really participated in any racing events besides the 5-meter relay, which I don't remember their results in. It was probably very mid. But yeah, that will do it for my tier list of the racer choices for each of the 20 teams in Marbula 1 Season 4. I hope you enjoyed watching this tier list. Leave it down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my opinions. And yeah, I will see you out on the track for Marbula 1. Take care.